And as I mentioned, these 3 calendar records can also be linked to records already existing in Legal Server. So for example, if I come to one of my cases, if I'm just going to go to, let's say we're going to go to Test Smith. So if I click on this blue hyperlinked number, it's going to take me to Test Smith's case profile. And so what I can see here is, again, if I'm looking at a standard case profile in Legal Server, I can see some notes, I can see a history. And then if I come here, and again, this may not look like your case profile on your site, but I can see things like tasks and events. So if I did have any upcoming tasks and events, I would see them on the case. And the way that I can create these tasks, deadlines, and events that are directly related to my Test Smith case is, again, I'm on my case profile. I want to do something. I'm going to go to my Actions menu. You'll see here we have a very built-out menu. So if I wasn't sure where to go, I can start typing in, if I want to schedule an event, I can start typing here into my search bar, and I see my Schedule Event option. I also happen to know, and it's usually the case on most sites, that there's a scheduling submenu that, again, allows you to pull in any of the options for creating events, tasks, and deadlines. So if I click on Schedule Event, you'll see that it looks very similar to the creation process that we saw through the calendar module. The first difference that you'll see, though, is that we have now made an event that is going to be linked to Test Smith. So if there's an event, so if we know that there's a deposition coming up, and it's going to be at Megafirm LLC for the Test Smith case, I can, again, make a task directly on this case. I can give it a type, say it's a hearing for now. I can tag this as a front desk item. So, if somebody needs to know on the front desk that this is an item that's happening, we can tag that here. I can, again, if I wanted, broadcast the event and put it on everybody's calendar. I can determine if this is an all-day event, the same way that I did through the calendar. I can decide whether that's a recurring event, have these additional options the same way that I could through calendar events that I just made through my calendar module. But you'll notice that when I click Continue, I'm taken right back to the Test Smith case profile rather than my calendar. And I can see here under my tasks and events, I can see my upcoming events in this list view. And at a glance, I can see that I have a deposition on this case. It's going to be at Megafirm LLC, and I'm one of the attendees. Again, this is a list view that you can configure. You can see whenever you want. You can set a certain date to broadcast events. And again, the same way that I could make an event, I can make something like a deadline on my case. I could also make, of course, a task. So if I just do something, and I'm just going to put a deadline. So if I know that I need to, call my client by a certain day just to confirm that they're going to my deposition, I can do that here. I can, again, mark this as critical, flexible, important. I can have a due date. So if I want to make sure that this is due by Monday or whatever day that was I just tagged it to, I can certainly do that. My list date, I'm going to keep for today so that we can see it, but you can certainly push that out into the future. We've seen this before, very repetitive, but again, it is a case alert. Something that I skipped, but it is flagged for me. If I have a deadline that I want to make really obvious on this case, I can set it as a case alert. So in this case, I'm going to click yes so that we can see what that looks like. I need to call the client. I need to confirm that they're coming. If I click continue, again, I'm going to come back to the calendar rather than my case. So what I'll do is just quickly backtrack and come into my Test Smith case. And then hopefully if it's saved, my case alert, I can see that I have a case alert, and that is a deadline to call my client. And it's, again, going to show up in my tasks and events. And so I can see my incomplete task that I need to call my client here. And again, event, a task, all my deadlines, they're going to be here. So I can see that this is a deadline. It's noted in my task type. If I wanted just to make a generic task, I could. And again, we're doing this right from a case profile.